I was born in East LA, California, raised in the city of Montebello. I was blessed to have two parents that really cared about me. I think they raised me, to be a good person, good Christian, believe in God, have manners, respect your elders. But most of all, they taught me, if you want to get something, you got to work at it hard, because when you do achieve it, you're going to appreciate it. So I, at a young age, I learned a really good hard work ethic. And I tried a lot of sports. I played everything. I mean, I did gymnastics, I did football, I did cross country, I swam, track and field. But once I got into wrestling, that was my calling. And the thing I liked about wrestling, it was an individual sport. It was one-on-one. And what I liked about it was the science of it. Everyone looks at wrestling and thinks, oh, you got to be strong, you got to be this big guy. It's not that way. I mean, I've always believed that technique will always beat strength, and that's what I liked about the sport. I wrestled 4 years at Montebello High School, and I never made it to the state tournament. Senior year, I was undefeated. I had a full-blown head concussion, was throwing up. Doctor said, no more wrestling, basically your senior year is over. And I was devastated. A couple of months later, I started getting the itch again to wrestle. And it's like, okay, I love the sport, I still want to wrestle. I graduated, I trained all through the summertime, got to the junior nationals. I was wrestling 114. I went through the tournament, I either teched or pinned everybody, and I got outstanding wrestler in that tournament. Bob Shepard, Ben Bolander, and Shiro Aoyama. I met these three coaches at East Los Angeles Junior College. Those three men had a big impact on my wrestling career.
He became our first state champion at East LA College, and after becoming state champion, he went to Oklahoma, and he wasn't real happy there.
So I transferred to Cal State Bakersfield, which gave me 2 years of eligibility, and I was able to wrestle for Joe C.
Joe was a phenomenal athlete to begin with, and he was self-motivated. He was a winner. He was a winner. That's just how, like I said, he didn't go into anything and not with the idea of winning everything that he did.
I had great workout partners, Azevedo, Jesse Reyes, Tim Vanny.
My daily beatings, he was extremely technical and good at getting angles, and effortless, made it seem effortless. And I think that became a routine type thing for Joe with him and John Azevedo, obviously.
What I think of Joe Gonzales as a technician and a partner, I think of somebody that was very hyper and very fast, strong, and just very solid in his fundamentals and technique.
A lot of my style was influenced by the Japanese, especially like Takada and Tomiyama. And I had the opportunity to go to Japan and train with those guys.
Came back and had all this technique that, I've shown over the years with, turning corners, trail leg coming up, and that's something Joe brought to me in the wrestling room at Bakersfield.
Steel sharpens steel, so you're only as good as your workout partner. And, having John in there, Azevedo, I mean, I used to hate wrestling that guy every day, but if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have accomplished my wrestling goals. In 1980, I wrestled Dan Glenn from the University of Iowa, and it was an important match for me. It was my last match of my college career. It was one of my wrestling goals, to be an NCAA champion. And I wrestled Dan several times, and it was always close. I wrestled him very conservatively, and I even get called for stalling, whereas most of the time I'm just taking him down, let him go. Just wrestled kind of safely. I didn't want to have a wild match with him, but I landed beating him. I think it was 63. It was one of my highlights of my wrestling career. I achieved one of my wrestling goals, and that was to become an NCAA champion. Since I got in the sport of wrestling, I've always wanted to make the Olympic team. So with that goal, I knew I'd have to go into international wrestling. And to tell you the truth, I like freestyle more than I like collegiate style. In the World Championships, I wrestled a guy named Kim from South Korea, and I've wrestled him before and beaten him, but this time it was a little different. You know, it was the World Championships, it was for the bronze medal. You know these guys are after you. I landed up beating him, you know, taking third in the world. You know, pretty good for me, but, you know, I still wanted to be a world champion. But I'm glad, you know, I was able to get that bronze medal and represent the United States. We won some tournaments in Europe, you know, one in Cuba. I won the Tbilisi tournament. I guess I was the 7th American to win that tournament. That was probably one of my highlights in my international career. And then making the '84 Olympic team, you know, that was always my goal, make the Olympic team, and, you know, I wanted to be a gold medalist. You know, I wanted to win the gold, and, you know, as fate would have it, it didn't happen for me. I had a ruptured, you know, I injured myself, a ruptured bicep. First match, I you know, break my neck. Kept on wrestling. I was in extreme pain, but I kept on wrestling. I guess I landed up taking a 5th in the Olympics. Things happen for a reason, and, you know, it wasn't one tournament that I was supposed to win. 1988, I wrestled Anatoly Beloglazov in the World Cup. You know, I beat him on my in, you know, my own soil in the good old USA, and, you know, felt good. The crowd went crazy, and it was one of my wrestling accomplishments that I was able to do was to beat Anatoly Beloglazov, and I think he wasn't too happy about that. My highlight of my life right now is my family. My wife, Joanna, my two little knuckleheads that I love to death, Joe and little Jacob. I love my marriage, I love my family, and every day after work I look forward to coming home to them. I'm pretty proud to just say I've been a part of the sport of wrestling. That's what I'm proud about. But I guess, you know, there was a lot of people thought that, you know, I was somewhat of a good wrestler, and that I should be inducted in the Hall of Fame. So, you know, I'm privileged. You know, I'm honored to be in it, and you know, I'm kind of I don't know, shy about it. So I'm just privileged.